Hello there, I'm Fatro.
Hi guys, I'm Unnommable.
Baby, I was born this way. Oh hey, I'm Laps. Welcome to the WGLNA.
Laps will be with us, folks. You don't want to miss it. We saw him there with the rest of the team leaders. Welcome back to the WGLNA. We're going to get ready for our third matchup tonight. It's going to be Hammer Time versus Simple Tankers. A bit of kind of the WGLNA classic since both these teams have been with us for quite some time.
Yeah, I think we can definitely throw that label on it, the classic, because Hammer Time being around since the beginning, Simple Tankers as well. These are two old teams with leaders that have stuck around since the beginning and a well-established core of players. So anything is possible. I think, though, that this is going to be one of the more traditional style where we're going to see Simple Tankers play their game, Hammer Time play their game. They're not going to bring out this newer stuff that you're seeing like people like I Love Lamp Fear do.
That can definitely wait for the playoffs since both these teams will be joining us in the playoffs. I think no matter what happens on these results, but we'll have to check, obviously, at
Simple
the end
Tankers,
of the night.
Hammer
At the end
Time?
of the night tonight.
Yes,
Yeah.
they're both in the playoffs.
All right. Well, as a reminder, folks, please follow us on Twitter at WGLNA, Facebook.com/WGLNA, and use that hashtag down below, WGLNA, so we can find your tweets and put them up on the broadcast.
And, of course, question of the day. We've got a few good answers, and if you had to choose one person to be a guest caster, who would you choose? There was one answer I saw, just checking Twitter a minute ago. Mark Hamill was thrown up.
Oof, that'd be great.
That'd be fun.
That'd be great. Him and I could do our Joker impressions, but I think he would win.
Yeah, you would probably win.
Yeah,
You
he
could
also
get
played Amadeus Mozart on the stage production of Amadeus, which I
Really?
would have loved to have seen. Loved to have seen. One of my favorite films.
No, that sounds like awesome.
Yeah, I know.
Is
I
there a
know.
recording somewhere?
I don't know. I'll have to.
Okay,
I'll
anyway.
have to figure it out.
Let's figure it out later.
You guys can join us at the Folsom Street Foundry for the finals for free if you play in our win a trip to the WGLNA Gold League Finals tournament. Pretty self-explanatory. You can sign up at worldoftanks.com, click the tournaments button right here, and then click WGLNA. The prize is for 3. It's a 3v3 tournament. All airfare and hotel and travel accommodations will be taken care of. We had a number of individuals that joined us in a similar tournament during the last time we had a finals event. I believe it was either in Seattle or San Francisco.
We've done a lot of events like that.
Yep.
Wargaming will do events where they take a tournament. The winners will be allowed to go to some kind of an event. But a lot of the times, they're these esports events.
We have our 2 team representatives standing by for the face-off. Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening.
Good evening.
All right, Lieberstadt, let's start with you. Not to say anything that could jinx your team, but unfortunately for you guys, Simp got a victory, so you're not able to take their place. You're going to the playoffs. What is the attitude of Hammer Time tonight in your matchup against Simple Tankers?
Well, we were watching the Simp game. We saw they went to tiebreaker. I think Simp wound up winning the last match. So
They did.
we were watching that, hoping, but we still want to win. It makes a difference whether we come in 3rd or 5th, which affects our standings and our who we're seeded against in the playoffs. So it does affect us. We do want to win. We learn more from winning too. So we're going 100% this match.
You learn more from winning. Lieberstadt, I think I'm going to take
so.
that quote for the rest of my life. It's but you also learn a lot from losing as well.
It actually is very strange that you say that. Most people say that when they come away from a loss, they learn quite a bit. But what do you think you guys do differently that makes you take more away from winning than losing?
I was hoping you wouldn't ask me to explain that.
Is that wait, if that's going to jinx your team, we'll stop.
No, it's cool. It's cool. Just a loss can be a little demoralizing. It intimidates the other team when you keep winning, makes them kind of overthink things the next time they play you. That's my psychology analysis.
So you guys take a little bit more energy and motivation from the victory to then study up and improve from that?
Right. I mean, you definitely saw some teams this season that just kept losing and just fell apart. Players weren't on the team anymore. They never picked up the game. I mean, you saw some counterexamples to that. I Love Lamp and Fear. They had a tough start and they turned it around. But not every team can do that.
All right, let's go ahead and check in with your opponents tonight. We got Jay Smooth from Simple Tankers standing by. Jay Smooth, you guys are going to the playoffs, I believe, no matter what happens in this matchup. Do you agree with some of the sentiments from Lieberstadt? You learn more when you win, or winning is a positive force for your team, obviously?
I'm never going to complain about winning.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
yeah.
But no, there's two ways. Like you said, one way is some guys might shut down from a loss, and other players might take it more to heart when they lose and really kind of focus them, almost like taking that punch and takes that focus, and then you're able to learn that way. So it just depends on the player and depends on the atmosphere on the team. But I'm never going to turn down a win, that's for sure, to learn a lesson.
If you do win tonight, how much will be left of that bottle behind you?
Oh, well, it just depends on how well NYPD plays and what kind of a mood he's in. As you all know, NYPD's been my Valentine before. And so me and my wife have a card for him. We have the third glass. So special shout out to NYPD. No bathrobe this time.
Aw.
All right. Well, Jay Smooth, do you have any words for your opponents before we start?
Oh, no, don't change anything, guys. Just do what you do, and we'll see you in the danger zone.
Liebestad?
NYPD is playing tonight. May the best team win. Simple Tankers been on a roll lately, so should be a good, enjoyable matchup.
Should be indeed. Thank you, gentlemen. Good luck. We'll see you on the battlefield.
We'll see you.
In the danger zone.
I mean, he set the mood.
He really did. He really did.
I mean, Jay Smooth is called Jay Smooth
I think
for a reason.
I think a lot of people may have to up their expectations when it comes to Valentine's Day of what to have. But
I mean,
you
handmade
guys,
card. Handmade.
yeah,
I mean,
handmade card, maybe a little bit of flowers, bottle of wine, doing well. You guys can place your bets right now. Make sure to do so in Twitch chat. If you have any questions, ask the people in Twitch chat, our moderators, especially Badco. Also, shout out to Earwaxian as well as watching or standing by to help you guys out. You always start with 10 points. You can check the leaderboards at WGLConnect.com to find out how well you're doing tonight. Top performers when it comes to points have an opportunity to take home a nice little prize. Place your bets at the beginning of every single battle.
All right. So these two teams, let's take a look at Hammer Time. Let's take apart Simple Tankers real quick. Hammer Time. I like to think that they're a little slower in pacing, not quite as fast and blitzy as Simple Tankers.
Agreed.
They'll bring heavier lineups, usually, where Simple Tankers will bring more mobility and try to utilize that. But Hammer Time will just also play just solid core mechanic-based play, where Simple Tankers is going to just try and bring some maneuvers out here, catch you off guard, find every little weakness, and just pick at it.
The countdown has almost completed here for our third match of the night. Battle number 1, Hammer Time versus Simple Tankers. Randall, what do we have for tanks?
We have 2 T-32s, a 1390, 2 RU-251s, and 2 M41 Walker Bulldogs for Hammer Time. The red team, who will be attacking to start the Simple Tankers, will bring 2 1390s, 3 RU-251s, and 2 M41 Walker Bulldogs. So it looks like we've actually got a DC called.
Disconnect.
Okay, so give us just a moment. It kind of happens sometimes.
Yeah, and how that rule set works is if DC is called before any tanks are spotted, we restart the battle. If the tanks have been spotted, it's about a minute or a couple seconds into the map itself, we keep going.
Yeah.
So that's why people are like, DC, 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 and then so they tell us.
Yeah, they whenever it happens, it's actually kind of funny to hear because they make sure to yell as much as they can.
Admin DC, admin DC, admin DC. You can hear the comms that way.
And the admin's like, I got it, guys, I got it. And he's like going for a second, just going to like, all right, declare.
Diligence. It's called diligence.
Exactly. You have to make sure they hear the call. Because it's like yelling a timeout. You're like, I want a timeout. I want a timeout. If they don't hear it, and all of a sudden you think you just had a timeout, you get called on that.
It's the same on the field. You got to get the umpire or the referee's attention.
Mm-hmm.
Say, hey, timeout, whatever. Need to get this happening. Prohorovka, our first battle for Simple Tankers, as something just flew into my eye. Fantastic timing. Sorry about that, guys.
Yeah, anyway. So
this has been the domination for Simple Tankers for quite some time.
I agree. They have a crown, which says, I'm good. At Prohorovka, I know how to play mobility. I can play the T-32s. I can maybe even bring an Artie if I feel like it. And Hammer Time on defense, I think they have a decent chance of being able to successfully defend. Simple Tankers is the kind of team that's going to be able to work around those defenses, though, and I think that's where we're going to see the best conflict. When it flips around and we see Hammer Time on the attack, Simple Tankers on the defense, I don't feel like we're going to get quite as high-level play because I think Hammer Time's defenses are great. Their attacks against Simple Tankers' defenses, it's going to be just weird. That's what I'm predicting. I think it's just going to be off. It's not going to feel right.
What do you think about Hammer Time versus Simple Tankers? It's going to be weird.
Only when it flips around.
And then what do we see in the face-off? We see a bottle of wine and a Valentine's card for NYPD coming from J Smooth. I think you're on the right track,
That's
Randall.
not weird. That's smooth. That's the way you do it.
It's definitely unexpected. I did not expect that.
That's how you get them, man. A card, they're not expecting it. That third glass, they're not expecting it.
All right.
It's what you're working for,
We're
man.
still waiting for the players to come back here from the disconnect. But taking a look at Hammer Time overall as a team, this is a team that's still trying to find their place in the sun, is kind of the best way I can describe it. They've gotten close. They've joined us in season finals in the past, but never got the top 2 billing. It was usually, obviously, Fulcrum or Fnatic and Sim during that time. So Hammer Time was always one of the contenders, but it was an afterthought after Simp and Fnatic for a
I've
time.
always kind of thought of it kind of like an orchestra, where we had the first and second chair that were, and I'll think of it kind of like violins as opposed to brass. There's usually the first chair, everyone else falls in line. Violins, maybe you can say first and second chair. Fnatic and Simp in the past, it's flipped around a little bit. They can compete. Now things have changed as we've gone to a different group. We have kind of Simp that was sitting at the top in first chair. It seemed like the Cunninghams would always be second chair, right behind them Hammer Time in third chair, and it would always be that way, and no one could ever break that up. That's what it appeared to be. But we don't see that anymore. We've seen it all thrown into chaos. We had the Cunninghams, who usually were second chair, who'd been wanting that first place, finally hopping into that position, and then Simp falling down, and it becoming a bit chaos. So we're seeing these teams grow closer and closer in skill, and we're seeing Simple Tankers, who played poorly last season, playing much better and getting up into that level of the standings. They could potentially end up in a very high seed when these playoffs go. So things have shifted around up top.
Yes.
And now people who are in the bottom have gotten that much closer to joining the top 3 in the future. Not this season, next season, seasons after that.
I mean, speaking from the bottom, Simple Tankers hit the lowest of low last season, getting completely knocked out of the Gold League and fought their way back via the qualifiers to join us once again. Now, this is a team that has turned things around, not top 4, but high enough to make it into the playoffs, high enough to be a solid contender, high enough to still strike fear in the hearts of Simp and Cunninghams around the world.
Yeah.
So with that type of confidence that they've built back up, I think Simple Tankers tonight, obviously against Hammer Time, is going to be a very close matchup, I predict. But they have the necessary experience and positive reinforcement that they've needed ever since what happened in Season 4. I mean, can you imagine a team that's been with us since the very beginning losing so badly that they get kicked out of the league in the end, they get relegated out?
I mean, we had a similar situation, I believe, with Bernal Empires, wasn't it? In one of the earlier seasons, Season 1 and 2, where they came into the league. We had high expectations. They had a good reputation, but they got kicked out. They had a bad season. They didn't play very well that season. They came back, though, and now they're back as Elevate, and they're playing much better. So all you have to do is just turn it around.
All right, we're going to continue to verify with our players here after this disconnect. So we're going to take a look at the Tiger tank.
Here we explore tank facts about the Tiger II. The Tiger II is named after the Tiger I, who was named after Shere Khan from the Jungle Book. Its full name is the artist formerly known as Panzerkampfwagen. Wow, this is really German. Tiger Offs B, but it now goes by the Bengal Tiger or King Tiger by the ladies. The tank sports a top speed of 38 kilometers an hour. And, whoa, this tank is on fire. Is someone going to put it out? I don't hear any sirens. Is there a firefighting tank? Would the water be sprayed out of the gun? The Tiger II was first used in combat during the Battle of Normandy and was later used in Operation Panzerfaust, which turns out was not a pork-themed barbecue. It weighed almost 70 metric tons and bolstered 180 millimeters of front armor. The view range of 390 meters allows for long-range fire, except for this guy. Wow. How could you miss that? So if you're ever in the jungle and you come across a king tiger, make sure to have some fire at the ready. That goes for any tiger or anything else in the jungle.
Hello, tankers, and welcome to crew training. Any competent vehicle operator knows that the moving parts of a machine will break down, especially if they're getting shot at. When it comes to tanks, the tracks are the most common mechanism a crew will scramble to fix. That's where repairs come in. The repair skill increases a crew member's ability to fix a damaged module. Every single member of your crew has this ability, and it's highly recommended that it's the first skill that you research. When the repair skill starts gaining experience, you will notice a reduction in repair time when a module goes out of commission. Tracks, turrets, viewfinders, even the engine may need a couple bangs from a wrench after a lucky shot from the enemy. If you need to repair a module instantly, you can use a small repair kit, which you purchased before the battle began. You can also purchase the large repair kit, which adds plus 10% to the crew repair speed. Now, once this kit is used, that bonus is gone, but every single damaged module is fully repaired. Some tank commanders prefer to install a toolbox, adding plus 25% to the crew repair speed. If you can tell the difference between a wrench and a torsion bar, we'll make a mechanic out of you yet. Good luck, and we'll see you on the battlefield. I love that piece in a sense of you get to see so many people you don't normally see on camera, just the back of their heads. So we're teaching them these different principles.
I hope they took notes.
They did, but they were mostly doodles of tanks and us on fire.
Oh yeah, I remember those were actually what they doodled. I remember that was.
Yeah, it was graphic. It was graphic.
Wasn't mild.
We apologize about the delay, but we're good to go as we jump into Prohorovka. Battle number 1 of our third match tonight, Hammer Time versus Simple Tankers. A huge shout out to our production team who were able to scramble quickly to get us back into the map. Randall, what do we have for tanks?
We have 2 T-32s, 1390, 2 RU-251s, and 2 M41 Walker Bulldogs for Hammer Time, the red team, who will be attacking for Simple Tankers. We'll have 2 1390s, 3 RU-251s, and 2 M41 Walker Bulldogs. And actually, this is a very odd situation. Usually, we would see the opposite, where this T-32 lineup is being brought by the defender, and that lighter, faster lineup brought by the attacker. But Simple Tankers is going for that mobility play.
Yeah, they want to use that mobility because that's the game that they love to play with that mobility, and they love blowing up trains as well. That's what the Tofu Smurf's doing.
They're actually looking to allow themselves to fire through those and spot through those a little easier. So once they're destroyed, of course, the solid sides become semi... There's some open areas that you can spot through.
Such a logical thing to explain the hatred that Tofu Smurf has for trains.
You know what?
I'm kidding, Randall. You're totally right.
I know. I'm entertaining the thought now that Tofu Smurf hates trains. You've convinced me.
I love trains.
I'm coming over to this side of the argument.
There's a World of Trains game. If there's an esports component to it, we would totally commentate.
You know, people used to joke that there would be a World of War Trains game.
Yeah.
There were...
April Fools. Maybe the next April Fools thing.
Yeah, and there used to be really well done graphics of World of War Trains that people would make. Like,
Simple Tankers are defending up to the north. Angry White Guy, along with 2 of the tanks that have gone over to the hillside, Wallhacks and Pub Whisperer, will not find any of Hammer Time, who are concentrated in the Hotel 3, Golf 3 section right now, slowly moving up. 2 of the tanks have been spotted. That's Nits and Big Cheese and the T-32s.
And it's a lot of tanks just sitting on a hill. Just, you know, doing what they do. No big deal. Don't need to worry. They're just waiting for something. Maybe a cheeseburger. I don't know. There's no tanks in the area. At least not for a little while. Angry White Guy does show up finally, so we're going to see a volley fire towards him. And it looks like Liebestad's the only ones to connect so far, I think. Actually, no, that might not have been Liebestad. Nits? It was. Nits for 253 onto Angry White Guy. And it looks like Hammer Time's going to be systematically working their way up the 1-2. That's their entire strategy for this one. They've only seen Angry White Guy, nothing else. They have no indication of where the opponent is. They don't know if they're west, east, north, or even if they're all the way in the southeast, which Tofu Smurf and Wallhacks are all the way in Juliet 6-7, so they're actually steps ahead of where Hammer Time is in their strategy in their reaction. So Simple Tankers might be able to take advantage somewhere if Hammer Time slips up or if they leave an open window.
That window, if it stays open, is going to get mighty cold here in Prokhorovka. No big push, no big movement coming from Simple Tankers as they've taken the eastern side. Hammer Time's pushing up to the north.
And we got
slow opening for both teams here, but Hammer Time, again, needs to have the perfect opening against Simple Tankers.
They do, and I think they can bully Simple Tankers out of their positions, because if you think about the light lineup that Simple Tankers has, they don't have a lot of hit points to play with. They don't have hold-down capabilities, really. They have some spotting, scouting, speed to their advantage, but with Nits and Big Cheese, if they're supported properly and there's good coverage, I think Hammer Time can make the cap happen, the west side, cover it with the T-32s, and then when you see that push from Simple Tankers, because it will come, and it will probably come across the F line, which is south of the hill that Big Cheese is currently at, we'll see that damage dealt, and we'll see that those trades occur. I think Simple Tankers is going to have a hard time, unless they find somehow the angle to stop cap. Now, Big Cheese does take a hit for 264. That actually knocks his commander out, which means he may have to use a kit on it. If he didn't bring one, then he's lost his commander, and that hurts, which will hurt his capabilities and his performance throughout the match, or the battle, I should say. Doesn't carry through matches.
Or a match in the future, possibly.
I mean,
all right, so Angry White Guy's running around waiting for an opportunity to strike as he's going to scout to the south. Jason is going to move up further to the north, and Tofu, Smurf, and Wallhacks jump over to their position. We'll sweep across to the south, looking for any straggling tanks. Are also opening the rear flank. Tofu, Smurf will be joining him as well. You're going to have to move quickly here.
So what Simple Tankers is going for with this, with Wallhacks, Pub, and Tofu, is that they're going to move across the F line one way or another. They have to. What they're looking to accomplish, I believe, is have those tanks come in from the south and be ready to fire upon those that come to stop these Simple Tankers tanks moving across the F line. Now, J Smooth looks like he's going to move up and over, getting into the low ground so he can go on a suicide run to stop the cap. That's his only hope real quick, because there are 9 seconds left, and he is tracked in the open. He fires, he's taking a lot of damage, and he does put one into Zazie. He will go down, and now Zazie is being focused, but NYPD has not taken damage yet. From the south, though, we do have the attack from Wallhacks and Tofu.
All right, Liebestad now pushing across. 707 in that volley, and Angry White Guy takes down Neander, and Liebestad falls as well. Papa Whisperer gets that kill. NYPD in a struggle up to the north side as 2 tanks are up against 1. He could get another kill in this timing. Executive still alive, takes another hit. NYPD circles around. Wallhacks now moves up against Big Cheese. Wallhacks will be on the reload. Nits will continue to fire back. Big Cheese is in trouble. He has taken a lot of module damage to his tank, and he falls. More tanks down on the side of Hammer Time. Simple Tankers, though, is low as well. And look at the amount of hit points. Almost even, a little bit in favor of Hammer Time, but due to the nature of their tanks.
Yes, but look at the tanks alive. You've got Pub Whisperer, Wallhacks, Autoloaders. Nits, a consistent fire, so is Overlord Prime. They don't have the ability to deal that 1,955 damage very quickly. It's going to take them time. Where Simple Tankers has to deal 2,502, but with 2 1390s, it's not going to take them very long. They can accomplish that. They can also just go for playing the clock because there's 35 seconds left.
Yeah, that's what Simple Tankers are going to do, is play for the clock. 30 seconds left. They can stay away from these tanks, 3 of them against 2. One of them is a slow-moving T-32, Overlord Prime, who could try to chase down some of these guys. Even if he focused on one tank,
he's found Wallhacks.
20 seconds left. Well, there's Wallhacks who maybe he said, I found him, instead of he finding me. One more shot, and he'll take down Overlord Prime. That'll leave Nits, the only tank left alive for Hammer Time with 5 seconds left. Simple Tankers is going to take it.
Yeah, nice play on their first one, using mobility to their advantage.
And Prohorovka continues to be the domination station for Simple Tankers in that first battle.
I liked what they did. I liked the way Simple Tankers took the group from the south, 2 1390s and RU 251, am I correct? Yeah, so taking that group from the south in as an attack is not what you usually see. It's not what most teams are accustomed to running into. They're used to that F-line attack, and they usually also don't leave the south quite as open. I think that's where Hammer Time made their mistake. They didn't cover everything. And there's arguments back and forth for this, because you can go a lot of ways where different teams have different styles of covering this. So I'll end it there. Simple Tankers just gets the right position, they take the high ground, they take out the important tanks, and they're able to keep that momentum. On top of that, Executus does plenty of damage before going down. He does 1,299, which against the tanks he was running into, I would have expected far less performance.
Yep. Once again, time management an issue for the attackers. Hammer Time didn't do much the first 3 minutes of the battle. And you know, a lot of these teams, they're not attacking, not doing anything because they're trying to fill their opponent. We see this mostly happening in Battle 1. It's understandable. No excuse for any other battles.
Yeah, I think you can give it a bye for this one. You can say that's okay. It's the first one. Hammer Time, you're known for more methodical play, more well-planned kind of like that. It's like, we take T-32s here, move light tanks up. We've got coverage here. There's phases of what
Cookie
you saw.
cutter sometimes, and not in a bad way.
Yeah,
not in a bad way.
In that it's well structured and planned out like that, the team also executes in that manner. You can see it. Whereas Simple Tankers is a little bit more, I think, flexible in some respects. So they're able to react like that.
They're already going Mach 2 in their tanks. They're just trying to find a target as they're moving. And it's good to see both these teams playing their game and to find out who's going to win out, as Simple Tankers is up 1-0 against Hammer Time. Battle number 2, Prohorovka. Randall, what do we have for tanks?
Well, we have a T-32, 2 1390s, 2 RU-251s, and 2 M41 Walker Bulldogs. For Hammer Time, this is their second attack, their final one for Prohorovka. Simple Tankers on the defense will have 2 T-32s this time, 4 RU-251s, and a T-37. Now, from Simple Tankers, this T-32 RU-251 strategy, I've known to be their strat where they'll run T-32s as an anchor, and then around that group, they'll just attack anything that's the largest threat with the RUs. They'll engage anything they need to keep the T-32s alive, and from there the T-32s do what they can. Zakum, a heavy tank player, and then Angry White Guy playing the T-32s on open maps.
Slow cruise coming from Simple Tankers in the center of the map. And Hammer Time is taking the long way round, taking their time. Well, not necessarily their time. I mean, they're moving as fast as they can by taking that route.
Mm-hmm. And it's a safe route that they're taking with Nitz, for example. He's moving in such a way that Simple Tankers can't do their traditional up and over, where they take RUs to the middle and just fire down into T-32s.
Now, real quickly here, Randall.
Or, well, actually,
this is a moment that I need you to please edify me.
Okay.
Why is Hammer Time not moving?
Well, Hammer Time's trying to cover the approach of Nitz. They know the T-32 is slow, they need to establish its position, and the best way to keep it safe is either to screen it by putting your own tanks in front, which means that you're willing to have an engagement. I would say no, because you're leaving a T-32 behind, a tank that you want at the front. So they're going to put Nitz to the front of the group. He has better armor, he's going to work well in hull down because of the strength of his turret, and he can spot things. In the meantime, covered by light tanks.
So once he reaches his position, then Hammer Time will start moving.
Yes.
As we get ready for... Ready for the movement of Hammer Time. There, it's happening now. As Nitz has taken his position.
And then that's it. That's trigger pulled. We've got Nitz in the right position. We've got some tanks spotted. We've got him one line push. Because Angry White Guy and Zakum to the east have been spotted. They now know it's unlikely Simple Tankers have many tanks in the northwest, or that they have much support in the northwest.
For 231, that return fire not happening towards Simple Tankers' defensive position. Really great punishment coming from Simple Tankers against Hammer Time here.
Yeah, they've done this strat before a few times. Now Zazie is lit one more time for a moment, and they're just going to keep firing with these RUs. Kraft Lawrence is somewhere up there, able to get some spotting. Overlord Prime, now lit. Going to take some fire, 286.
Oh, he's almost half health now.
Yep, and they're sitting still, which is the big problem. They need to be hidden. They need to get some bush cover so that Kraft Lawrence can't spot them nearly as easily, because they're sitting out in the open trying to find a target. They haven't. I would recommend probably putting Lieberstadt or Big Cheese into about Charlie 3, and then trying to make a high ground approach across the one line. which would seem counterintuitive, but if you approach behind the proper hill, you can avoid taking fire because Kraft Lawrence can't see you. Nothing else would be able to spot you anyway.
Nope.
But look at the damage. Liebestad's getting torn apart. Nyandir, Overlord Prime, Zazie, everyone is just getting beat up. Now,
Look at that trade. That's a tier 8 for a tier 6.
it's not worth it. The
Not
value
worth
is,
it for Hammer Time.
yeah, it's way in favor of Simple Tankers. They're already at a huge lead, and Hammer Time needs hit points to play with. Look at the difference, 7,600, 4,500.
And Neander falls again. Another tank down for Hammer Time. Simple Tankers is playing this textbook style.
Yeah, and
defending here on Prohorovka.
it's a trap in a way. You've got the 1 tier 6 Kraft Lawrence passive in a bush. They know he's going to be there because they're getting spotted. Sixth Sense tells them as much. So they try to find this tank because they're committed to their goal. They need to take the 1-2 line. That is our mission. We will accomplish this. And so they have to take risks in order to succeed there. But the cost is way too much. Like you can't take that risk. It's something where I think Hammer Time probably needs to just readjust, leave, and find a new approach, a new attack, and that's where they can win. NYPD, though, I love the way he's approached. Through a bush to avoid getting spotted. And by the way, he just bounced 2 shells from T-32.
Zakum is gone. Overlord Prime, Zazie, NYPD, and Big Cheese will get pounced upon, though, from the flank across the railroad tracks. Zazie falls. Overlord Prime is next, as Big Cheese and NYPD are on the run from the onslaught of Simple Tankers.
And now NYPD he has only 2 shells left. Not going to be able to finish off Angry White Guy. And give it a moment, Wallhacks and Tofu connect.
Beautiful shot, even from long range against Nits for 267. 2 tanks remain for Hammer Time as Simple Tankers is ready to clean this up. Tofu Smurf and Wallhacks push up against Nix as Big Cheese is waiting for his reload. And these 2 RU-251s will do some significant damage. Big Cheese, however, is loaded. And Nitz is able to take down Pub Whisperer. Return fire, though, as Big Cheese is about half health here, and 2 shots remain in his AMX 1390. Tofu misses.
And Executus has shown up.
He misses again. There he gets a shot. Executus now pushes up. And can he get the ram damage?
Oh,
nope.
not quite.
He's going to get right up next to him.
That was pretty.
Fire to the side. Simple Tankers is up 2-0 against Hammer Time, but the tables will turn now as Simple Tankers will be on the attack, Hammer Time on the defense.
And knowing Hammer Time and knowing Simple Tankers, this is where we're going to see the more serious stuff. Hammer Time is the kind of team that on Prohorovka I feel can defend very well. Their attacks against Simple Tankers have not been really that successful. They've been falling into traps. They're taking risks and not choosing to back down. They're stubborn. And Simple Tankers is able to take advantage of that. Now that it's going to flip, I think we're going to see Simple Tankers trying to just break the hard defense of Hammer Time, which I expect is going to be very well prepared. Hammer Time needs a well-prepared Prohorovka strategy, especially going into the playoffs, where if it shows up, you're going to be against a lot of teams who, if you think about that 3rd through 10th, are playing excellently on Prohorovka right now. You can see some truly unique strategies and very different styles being utilized successfully on this map.
Definitely, but can they do it as the attackers? That always becomes the flip question.
I think they can. That's what I'm saying. I think that they can. I think Simple Tankers has good attacks. I think Hammer Time has good defenses. And with the momentum that Simple Tankers gets, like motivation-wise, morale-wise, I think I'll give them a little bit of an edge in that respect. They're the kings of Prohorovka, you could say. Hammer Time, well, they're Hammer Time. They're very good at defenses. They're very methodical and slow. On attacks, you don't think of them pulling blitzes as much as a lot of other teams. Not that they won't ever. But,
Sure.
But as a defender, they could actually, here's a good throw this off. Something I wouldn't expect them to do would be actual blitz and attack.
Yeah.
So if we're looking for things that Hammer Time can pull, that would probably set off Simple Tankers, an outright attack would.
Taste of their own medicine, possibly, as you move into battle number 3. Simple Tankers is up 2-0 right now. Randall, what do we have for tanks?
Well, we have 2 T-32s, 1390, 2 RU-251s, and 2 M41 Walker Bulldogs for Hammer Time for their defense. Solid, standard, practiced. Simple Tankers are going to bring 2 T-69s, 2 1390s, RU-251, and 2 M41 Walker Bulldogs. Take a guess where those T-69s are going. Just take a guess.
East.
All right. Now, originally I would say that they're going to go mid, but with the 2 1390s, I suspect there's going to be a twist in this strategy, a twist to really add some kind of flavor or style. Tofu and Zakum,
They're not going east.
They're not going east. And it's a little late for me to make my call. I've seen too much information, you know? So I'll hold off. But Tofu and Zakum, you can see how they kind of split apart, but I love that loop, by the way, from Angry White Guy and
me too.
Executus. Really nice way of handling things. You can really confuse opponents if they're not sure which target to focus on. But we're going to have a T69 fight against a T32 combo, where Big Cheese, Photo Finish are going to be able to get to the bowl. But Tofu and Zakum, I don't know what they're going to be able to do to outplay.
Tofu hit to the side, Zakum hit to the side as well. They can't get any shots at NYPD, and Zakum's getting punished for it.
Yeah, now Photo is going to be behind Big Cheese instead of going into the bowl where Big Cheese is taking a lot.
Wallhax is getting some great shots against Big Cheese, though.
Yes, and these are perfect. If he continues to pen like he is,
He's
going to go down, and that's going to be perfect for Simple Tankers.
He's close. One more shot. He misses, though.
Pub Whisperer could move into the right position and get the hits, or someone from the east could do it. A T69, Zakum, pop up right behind the proper rock. He's at 341. That's 2 shells. 2 shells is all they need to kill Big Cheese. And then once he's down, that's so much taken away. But Hammer Time is bringing the response. They are bringing support, and they want to keep Big Cheese in the game. They can't afford to lose him for no gain. And so they're going to, instead of allowing Big Cheese to continue to be taken down and just beaten around, they're going to move forward. They're taking the West.
Executus falls back a little bit, and here's that push you mentioned, Randall. One shot into Overlord Prime, another one for 317. Wallhax looking for an opening as Zakum is up on the high ground, firing into the assault coming from Hammer Time. Big Cheese fires back towards Zakum. Zakum is at less than half health with 1 shot remaining, and Photo Finish gets the kill against him. That's the first tank down.
I really like the way Hammer Time is handling this. Instead of continuing south and running the gauntlet, they stopped a moment to take care of tanks firing at their flanks. Now, instead of getting into more cover further to their west, they're going to start engaging with the north. I think that this is where they're starting to lose that focus that they had just a moment ago, which was so admirable.
J Smooth falls. There goes Liebestad, though. The return fire is still slightly in favor to Simple Tankers. Zazi is low. He's on the reload. Executus gets that kill. Overlord Prime tries to fire back once he's loaded, but Photo Finish gets the kill against Executus. Wallhax still again waiting on the reload. Pub Whisper low on health and low on shots. 2 remain. Tofu and Angry White Guy on the reload.
Yeah, and now the goal for Simple Tankers should be to take down the T-32s. Problems, though. Tofu Smurf is just about entirely alone. He's on the reload, but it's going so slow. I wonder if maybe he's lost an ammo rack or something. Now he is loaded. He will be able to damage Photo Finish, but he's not going to be able to finish him off without support. And that's serious support that he needs from a 1390 or from one of the...
Beautiful shot from Wallhax. As he parades around the dead tanks here, Tofu Smurf continues to stay in the fight, even though he has no shots. He's on the reload. Angry White Guy is getting from behind against Photo Finish. He's turning circles around Photo Finish. Photo Finish cannot keep up. Big Cheese fires towards Wallhax. Can't get the shot.
Angry White Guy, though, for a moment, Photo outplayed him as a heavy tank. He couldn't get the track shot, but he is able to get the kill before going down. But right now, Tofu is almost loaded. He needs just a few seconds. He has them. He's loaded. Once Photo Finish peaks up, if Tofu manages to fail in his attack, well, it's not too good. Pub Whisperer, though, needs to pay attention. I think Pub Whisperer is a little more important than Tofu right now.
And there goes Pub Whisperer. They got to assault now. Tofu Smurf. Big Cheese is not looking towards him. Wallhax is now going to pounce on Photo Finish, and Wallhax bounces a shot against Photo. Simple Tankers unable to coordinate in time to get the shots against these T-32s, and that's why these consistent fire tanks with no cons are used on Prohorovka.
That is exactly why, and that's, I think you hit it right on the head. Lack of coordination from Simple Tankers. They went in there at low health. They could have handled the situation, but their timings were off when it came to the end. But before this, there were a few things we should note, which is first, observe the way Hammer Time redirects their attention towards Zakum. Instead of trying to engage the further south tanks and then taking more damage before they have to stop for their engagement, they stop in an okay position. Not great cover, okay cover. And they begin putting fire towards those T-69s, tanks that will rack up tons of damage if allowed to. Then, once members of Simple Tankers expose themselves to try and engage on those tanks which have stopped in the one-line push, they get to fire on those as well. The T-32s especially can put shells into them because they don't have any cover at all. Instead of approaching them and saying, well, let's jump right into this cover where our T-32s can't support you. Let's instead go for a position where we can engage on the T-69s, where our T-32s can get on and engage on your tanks to the far south. So it's a bit of a screen in a way, where both attacks or both positions that are key to your attack, your strategy, are covering the other. The T-32s to the south, and then the light tanks to the east. The T-69s could have been a large threat to the T-32s, for example. They could have, if they decided to, engaged on them, focused down one of the T-32s and removed it from the battlefield, then it escaped for a little while, returned and gotten the T-32s again. But there's a lot of things that players could have made decisions on. It's all how everyone would have reacted
all
to those.
Small little moments where those decisions can make or break an entire engagement. Battle number 4, last battle in Pro Heroica for these two teams. Hammer Time has 1 point and Simple Tankers has 2. Randall, what do we have for tanks?
We have 2 T-32s, an Object 416. I love seeing that. 2 RU-251s and 2 M41 Walker Bulldogs for Hammer Time. On their final defense, Simple Tankers will bring a 1390, 4 RU-251s and 2 M41 Walker Bulldogs. Now the Object 416, I think it's a cool choice on this map, but I think it depends on where they put it, which of course raises the question, where are you going, NYPD? Okay. Okay, do you remember Hammer Time, I think, bringing a Waffentrager on this map? It may have been something I remember in offlines when I was reviewing.
I mean,
them.
I remember teams bringing Waffentragers very rarely. I mean, we've seen the Jagdtiger or either Jagdpanther used on Pro Heroica, not very successfully. They try to hold them way back in the north.
Oh no, that was qualifiers maybe. This season's qualifiers was that? I think open qualifiers. And okay, anyway, so we've usually seen, I believe, Drynitz in a Waffentrager before, and well. Wait, is he not? He's not here tonight. Why didn't I notice that?
Yeah, no Drynitz playing for Hammer Time.
Yeah, it seemed like one of those things where he's just there.
Always present?
Yeah, so you'd never look for him because once you realize he's not there, you're just confused.
Well, sometimes you don't know what you got till it's gone.
Yeah.
Chase Smooth's going to be scouting NYPD to the north here if he creeps up past the riverbed.
What is just around the riverbed?
I was thinking the same thing,
I could
Randall.
not think it.
I know.
I have to admit, I love that movie.
I have a fun story about that movie, but that's for another time and place.
Okay.
Simple Tankers is holding in the Eastern Valley. Big Cheese has been spotted.
I'm wondering if Simple Tankers holding off the way they are is a bad idea or a good idea. If it's a trap or a mistake. It's one of those situations where I can't tell if what they're doing is super intentional or we're getting a bit of a happenstance where Hammer Time's allowed to return because you have Nitz, you have Liebestad, for example, Overlord Prime now in the north, which will prevent Simple Tankers from making their very much more proper reply or cap, for example. Now, the way J Smooth is escaping, by the way, I'm a little afraid for him. But at the same time, the way this is going to evolve is intriguing to me because I'm not familiar with exactly this situation.
True.
Because we get to see many times where a scenario will act itself out and we get to look for those little differences. Execution, we get to see focus fire, all those things that make up that instance and see who executes better. And that's how we usually get to differentiate skill. But in this one, I'm running into a situation where we usually don't see this. We don't see this kind of an engagement where we've got J Smooth where he is all the way in, what is that, Echo 0? And then Angry Wyka on the hill, and the entirety of the rest of Simple Tankers is now going across the south.
Yeah, they're across that south plain. Wallhacks and Pub Whisper, Executus and Known One are in that attack group. There's 2 other tanks still on the east side, 1 on the hill.
Hammer Time knows, I think. Look at the way Big Cheese and Photo Finish are. Their turrets are indicating to me that they're pre-aiming. They're waiting for something important to happen. Big Photo Finish was looking directly west. Big Cheese was looking kind of towards about like Foxtrot 5, the hill above him, expecting someone to come up and over an ambush. Or not ambush, but just blitz him. So I think Hammer Time can tell what's up. They know something is off. and the Simple Tankers have avoided their notice for too long to not be up to something. And they're calling it. They're saying west side, which is correct in this situation.
Wallhacks continues to push forward. 2 minutes and 55 seconds on the battle clock for Simple Tankers to make a move, and this is the time to do it. Jay Smooth and Angry White Guy circling around from the hill, now going past the flag cap, not indicating where they are as Wallhacks takes a big hit to the front. NYPD and Nits will be there to greet him, and the crossfire on Wallhacks is too intense. He falls. Unknown One and Executus continue to push forward. They take a little bit of hits, and they focus on Nits first. They continue to move towards Liebestad, and with that momentum, hope to get behind a little bit of cover, but Unknown One is going to be targeted. Executus misses a shot, and Liebestad takes a hit from Tofu Smurf. He hits Unknown One for the kill. Executus is taken down by NYPD. Traded fire from Tofu Smurf, but now Hammer Time's going to push in to answer Tofu Smurf's presence.
Now, in the meantime, in the north, Jay Smooth and Angry White Guy were able to take down Nits. Nits. Now, Angry White Guy has managed to stay alive just barely, taking cover behind a wreck and support fire. So you see this two-pronged attack where Simple Tankers have really failed in the west. And then they did see some success on the east side with their M41 Walker Bulldogs. So I'm wondering if the timing wouldn't have been different here for Simple Tankers to come out more ahead, or if Hammer Time's defense really is that good, because they tore apart the west side of the map. Although Pub Whisperer returning as he is right now, I think this could work out very well. He's full health 1390, just needs to get in position quickly enough, and Angry White Guy needs to play his cards right. Well, there's not a lot of cards you can play very well. He
No.
didn't have a strong hand. I'll just give him that.
No, there's not. You can't really bluff too well either when you're the attackers. But Pub Whisperer from a distance takes down a tank.
Not bad.
He's going to start reloading here.
Although, now he has to deal 3,100 hit points of damage against two untouched T-32s. They don't even have a scratch. They've gotten plenty of damage between the two of them. They are good at working together. And now Pub's gonna have to hope that they split up something where he can engage on one of them without having to worry about the other. Photo Finish is gonna be heading to the northwest where he can support Big Cheese. And that is a place where we could see Pub Whisperer get the kills, because Photo could be too far away.
It's 30 seconds.
I mean, you're right. I missed that.
Pub Whisperer cannot do enough damage in 30 seconds to kill these tanks.
He doesn't have time to reload a second time. He does have time to engage on Big Cheese and fight for honor, glory, and tacos.
Yeah, well, unless Photo Finish can stop the tacos at least with a nice long-range shot from that distance. Big Cheese turning his turret, looking for the Pub Whisperer. Pub Whisperer is about one or two more shots left. He takes a hit. Big Cheese fires and gets the kill, and that's it. Hammer Time ties up the series 2-2. As we'll move on to the steps, where Hammer Time will be on the attack, Simple Tankers will be on the defense.
Yeah, and I think it all went about as we could have expected. Hammer Time being good on the defense, Simple Tankers trying to pull some stuff out to throw them off. I like the west-east attack that you saw in this last one, but I think it needs a little adjustment before it's going to be as successful or consistently. At this point, it's really just an attack with kind of a coin flip, maybe, to get you a win.
But yeah, hopefully this will work. It didn't.
Yeah.
And sometimes
That's what a lot of attacks...
sometimes it's the strongest option. It's the strongest choice you can make.
Yeah, because you don't have enough time to really map out their entire strategy before you're able to execute. And you can't do it quickly enough without taking massive risk. So you could take a strategy in which you would gain the intel to know what to do, but you would risk so many hit points in doing it that you would then lose because you risked too much and, well, they played it right, you know? And then you run into the wrong situation. A blitz like that, you don't know exactly what's coming at you, or you don't know exactly what you're going to run into.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of chances for, well, you found out that 4 tanks are up there, and there are T-32s in support, which kind of sucks for your attack.
Got to be careful about that.
Yeah.
All right, so with steps, changes that can happen. It's still an open playing field for both these teams. One thing I'd like to note, Randall, is that we have not seen Himmelsdorf at all tonight. So far, though.
That's the way teams are picking it. They don't want to have to deal with Himmelsdorf. Himmelsdorf is a map where you break even.
Yeah.
You get 2, you lose 2. And that's it. Teams are deciding they want to go with something that they feel like they can influence the odds a little bit more because teams are too good at defense on Himmelsdorf.
We're getting ready for Battle number 5 between Hammer Time and Simple Tankers. Randall, what do we have for tanks?
Well, we have a T-32, two 1390s, 3 RU-251s, and a 5916 played by Nitz. On the other side, Simple Tankers is going to bring a T-32 and a Pershing, nice mix there, with a 1390, 2 RU-251s, and then 2 M41 Walker Bulldogs. So, nice mobility from both teams. You're going to get Hammer Time in the attack with slightly more, and Simple Tankers with the Pershing, which is a bit of a balancing act in that it's decently mobile, but also can fulfill many roles similar to a T-32. So I like it. But what is Hammer Time doing? Look at this. Look at the way they're hiding their light tanks and potentially photo finish right now on the backside of a hill. Unless a member of Simple Tankers went on a complete suicide run, where they just ran the trench, didn't care, they wouldn't even hope to find this. But this is a timing. They're hoping that the opening scout run from Simple Tankers will not be able to catch them because it already came by, went on the retreat, and is now perhaps in some kind of a cycle where Angry White Guy would theoretically, in Hammer Time's mind, be farther away. But Angry White Guy was just sitting there waiting. So the attack has been discovered in this huge overmatch. Well, Angry White Guy is just going to run away. And Simple Tankers, well, they're just going to have to come back to base.
Yeah, that's the only thing Angry White Guy can do. And as he runs, we'll see the shift coming from Simple Tankers heading over towards the east. And we'll see Liebestad putting his tank on the flag cap for a brief second.
He went up and over trying to catch that one shell just before Angry White Guys are able to get into a defilade, but Angry White Guy was just a little bit too fast.
I really like how Hammer Time is using the time wisely at the beginning of this matchup to say, hey, we're going to occupy this area of the map, come and get us, and if you can't, we win.
Exactly. Now Zazie is going to get into the high ground. 1390 up there is not bad. I usually kind of I feel an RU-251 seems like a better choice because it's going to be able to be consistent fire. But, I mean, whatever your choice is. I ain't going to judge, kind of a thing.
Zakum hit for 243. He continues to inch forward as Zazie takes a hit. Zakum continuing to the volley now at 684. Continues to be hit here.
Shells continue going
He's
over
on
Zazie.
Fire. Automatic fire extinguisher takes it down. One more shell. He will go down, and he does.
Yeah, Zazie is now on the reload, opening the flank up for Simple Tankers to push forward without having to worry about that tank. But the damage has already been done. They've lost a T-32. Now they've lost J-Smooth. Soon it might be Angry White Guy. He takes a lot of fire trying to regain this position, and one more shell will finish him off. He is able to push Zazie out of the position slightly, but not entirely. And he will shift his focus to help out against Overlord Prime. And now, hopefully, against Photo Finish.
Pub Whisperer and Tofu Smurf continue the firefight here. And Executus gets hit for 272. He starts to fall back.
Oh, and Zazie, just as he gets reloaded, finishes off Angry White Guy. Now, 4 tanks alive for Simple Tankers against the 6. What? I thought someone was supposed to go down. Okay.
You thought wrong.
I really had I predicted it being a 5.
Yeah, that's
Never mind.
3 tanks down. It's okay.
Yeah.
3 tanks down. Photo Finish takes a hit, but Hammer Time is looking very strong here as they force Simple Tankers to have to reconnoiter their entire position here.
Yeah, but Executives and Wallhacks have kind of stayed behind a little bit to continue dealing damage and to punish Hammer Time while they try to get this cap to work. So does that actually mean, like, is there a possibility? I'm entertaining this because I don't think Simple Tankers should be able to take this. The cap's going incredibly fast. They're not even closing the distance yet.
And if they were able to push forward, they're going to be punished because of it due to Hammer Time set up to guard the flag cap. 8 seconds remain on that base capture.
Pub could get up and over and get the shot. He is moving around to the south, which is probably the least expected angle at this point. But Tofu is going to be in first. And
do they get it? Have to verify with the admin. As they continue to push, base has been captured. Hammer Time now leads the series 3-2 as the Tankers will continue to fight each other here.
Yeah,
and
they actually kind of continue the extra
blow each other up.
Yeah.
Looking at what went so well for Hammer Time, as I mentioned, is that they moved. They moved at the beginning of the battle, and about the 5 minute 30-second mark, they were on the flag cap.
Yeah, it was
good. Good job, Hammer Time.
I gotta give it to him. It was pretty cool. It was a cool strat. Simple Tankers, their reaction to it, you can tell they were caught off guard.
Definitely.
They didn't have much forward scouting in the south. They would not be able to tell until Angry White Guy was right where he was, which I feel is a little late. Not necessarily bad, but I can see why Hammer Time did what they did. They tried to maximize the efficiency of their time so that they would be discovered as late as possible. So Simple Tankers, on top of that, picked a strategy in opening, which played into that strategy. They went west. They're as far away from that cap as they typically would be. I mean, they could be farther, but that's absurd. So Simple Tankers has to scramble to return, and that's why they don't perform very well in the recovery, in the attempt to retake their cap. Hammer Time, all they did was use the element of surprise, and I think that's what gave them the edge in every fight.
Anything that could happen in this next battle that exists in the realm of absurdity? Sorry, I just like how you brought up, like, no, they wouldn't have done that. That's absurd. Like, well, what else is in the realm of absurdity here on Steps? Everybody bringing all RU-251s, and then Togs would be in the realm of absurdity.
Togs.
Yeah.
So, Simple Tankers.
I think Togs answered the question.
Simple Tankers doesn't. I'm gonna throw a bet out there. I don't think they bring Artie at all this series.
No,
I don't think they.
I don't think that's not part of Simple Tankers' play.
But it would be absurd
Artie.
for them to do it.
And it could be the necessary linchpin they need to throw Hammer Time off.
Maybe because Hammer Time, I feel like, might bring a heavier lineup one of these times. Throw an Artie in there at the last second. Might be able to pick a win up from that.
Maybe
anything
can happen.
It's kind of one of these matches where we're going to be like,
we have to just enter in the realm of theory crafting here in order to know what we've seen in the past, expectations, measure those expectations, and then throw all that out the window for something completely different, because that's what's going through these teams' mind as they select their tanks and move into the final countdown. Battle 6, what do we have for tanks?
Well, we've got a T-32 on either side. 1390s, 2 of them. 3 RU-251s and a 5916 for Hammer Time, the attack. Cool. Simple Tankers, T-32 Pershing, 1390, 2 RU-251s, 2 M41 Walker Bulldogs. Also cool. Great. So, just about the same. This time, Simple Tankers opening up with something less risky, I'll say. I think covering your southern cap, or eastern cap, first seems safer to me, because transitioning to cover the western cap doesn't seem quite as hard. But Hammer Time's going to try something similar to what they did last time, which is put Photo Finish out front and then hide all of their light tanks in the backfield. They appear to be waiting for something, some kind of trigger, and it looks like that trigger has been pulled. It's a timing right about 6 minutes, 15 seconds. They decide to head west. Photo Finish at the same moment is going up the middle road, and also to throw out there, Nitz has been already up to Echo 2 to verify that Simple Tankers isn't waiting there in some kind of a trap. So they'll be able to make the safe approach. They can call audibles because Nitz is ahead. He can scout, make sure nothing as sneaky is happening. And then J-Smooth has managed to get very close. His Photo Finish is in such a position that if J-Smooth were just slightly further southwest, he could spot Photo Finish as he went through the trench.
Movement from Simple Tankers to the north. The defenders continue to wait patiently for Hammer Time. They do not want to be caught off guard. That's why you'll notice the tanks that are further to the south with J-Smooth, Tofu Smurf, and his compatriot Executus. One shot towards Hammer Time does not connect.
And now Liebestad's going to close the distance, moving up, I think, Alpha 4, maybe even Alpha 5, if he feels like playing it close. We'll have to see if he goes for the bush. He has been spotted on his approach. Could be taking some counterfire from Simple Tankers. Looks like that's not going to be the case as they place one tank up and behind him. That's Overlord Prime, who is now firing towards Zakum.
Zakum hit for 250.
Not bad. He's got a nice high angle. Elevated position can actually defeat the hull down that Zakum currently has. But if Zakum plays it right and doesn't angle his turret improperly, he should be able to bounce most of these shells.
Looking for any openings, not only to get a reset, but any openings against Hammer Time to punish looking or overextending their position.
Yes, exactly. Hammer Time wants one of the Simple Tankers tanks to make that suicide run to stop the cap. Because if they can pull Nitz off of the cap at the right moment, or stop Angry White Guy, then it's perfect. Nitz now needs to get off cap. He's been spotted, and they need to take down Angry White Guy. Angry White Guy is now exposed. He's out in the open. He does not have a safe place to back off to. If Hammer Time were thinking about taking Angry White Guy down, they should be trying to execute on it. And I think Photo Finish is going to be trying to do just that as he closes the distance, goes up and over, and now he can force Angry White Guy into poor positions where other members of his team can take advantage of him.
Angry White Guy falls back. Photo Finish.
Where's the sniping?
He's looking for Angry White Guy. He gets a beautiful shot for 238, and Angry White Guy dodges a shot from Overlord Prime.
It's not going to be enough. Now, Photo Finish is going to start taking damage. He needs to back out. Executus, as you can see, has been able to pepper him for, what is it, maybe even 3 shells now. Could be 4 if he gets greedy. No, he won't. And Photo Finish is almost at half health. The T-32, which is the tank from Hammer Time, who needs to be bouncing a lot of shells. Well, he's taken a lot right now, and I think that opens up for Simple Tankers to be able to make a push if they need to. They've dealt damage. They're ahead.
Photo Finish now getting lit up.
There we go, a little bit more.
708 in that volley, and he's down. First tank down. That's a boon for Simple Tankers here.
Yeah, we didn't see much change from Hammer Time's positions based off of what was happening to Photo Finish. They did not return fire very much against those tanks that peeked up and over. It was a little bit. The Executives taking a shell, wall hacks, yeah. Zakum, they're all taking a little bit of damage, but it's really not enough to force them to change their habits.
True. Zakum looking for an opening again. 2 minutes and 30 seconds for the attackers to make a move. Big shot on Nitz for 255, and he's down.
There we go. Now, Hammer Time is gearing up for the push. They're going to go up and over right across the A line, and that's going to be a charge into probably one of the best positions for Simple Tankers. It's a matter of Simple Tankers being ready for it, and I think they are.
Overlord Prime takes a number of hits to the front. Zazie does as well, takes 1 hit, and that continues to whittle down the power of Hammer Time, who could fold against Simple Tankers defending. Wallhacks pulls back a little bit towards Zakum. He is the target fire coming from Hammer Time, and he goes down. Zazie gets the final shot on the kill. Executus returns for the revenge kill, and Zakum looking for an opening against Big Cheese. He will be the next target, and he goes down as well. Big Cheese with the last shot. NYPD very close, and he goes down as well. Simple Tankers is dominating, and they're going to clean this up.
Yeah, it's a stronghold, good defense, a little bit of risky play, but Hammer Time did not bring enough to overcome the reactions, the clear setup that Simple Tankers had. It's a hard defense to beat. Similar to that of like the Northwest defense on Himmelsdorf, the Northeast defense on Steps can be very difficult in different ways though, because you use different elements of the game. Hull down is probably one of the elements that you see shared between the Northwest on Himmelsdorf and the Northeast on Steps here. You see T-32s, wall hacks like that, playing hull down. But still, we see the same approach to defeating it, which is close the distance. And that's what you hope for. Now in this situation, Hammer Time entered this engagement at a huge disadvantage. They had lost a lot of health, they'd even lost a few tanks, so they were going to lose even before this engagement started. There's really a very small chance that they could ever come out ahead in that. What they were doing, I think, was just throwing it away, going for the fight to just see if they could do it, because really they couldn't hope for much more than some lucky ammo racks, some better brawling to come out. But it's Simple Tankers.
It's funny, it's almost on the borderline hilarity of what just happened, because we saw Simple Tankers have this type of scenario happen to them many, many times throughout pretty much the first half of this season. And I think from the amount of times it happening to them, they knew how to execute it upon another team that was moving towards that position.
Exactly. They know exactly what you're going to do when you are in a position you have to make those pushes, where you don't have the time to play around with it, where you just need to hope for it.
And as Lieberstadt said in the face-off, you learn a lot from winning. You also learn a lot from losing, and that's what Simple Tankers learned in that type of scenario. The tables are going to turn, as we will have battle number 7 on Steps with Simple Tankers on the attack and Hammer Time on the defense. Randall, what do we have for tanks?
Well, we have an IS-6, T-32, 1390, 2 RU-251s, and 2 M41 Walker Bulldogs for Hammer Time, which is a weird strat. Simple Tankers will bring 3 1390s, 2 RU-251s, and 2 M41 Walker Bulldogs. So it's a bit of an odd strategy.
Well, in the end, what checks out is that it works.
We'll see if that clears. Give it a little bit.
I'll wait for the reloads on these 1390s. They head to the north side, Simple Tankers. on the defense.
Oh, I see what's going on.
Or on the attack, excuse me.
Yes. Now, Nits and Photo Finish are actually going to knock over all of the trees that are sitting in the Alpha 5 through 7 grid squares on the map. And you're even going to see him. Oh, is he going to try and cut down trees with HE? Please do it, Photo. Please, 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 please. I'm kind of hoping he does, because you don't get to see that a lot, and it's kind of something that I enjoy doing at times, because if you fire HE at the base of a tree in World of Tanks, you will knock it over, actually, if your HE deals enough damage. So if you have a T-32, your HE shells will cut down most trees in the game. If you have a T2 tank, up to about maybe in T4, your HE might not actually be enough to cut the tree down. So you can actually destroy people's tree cover at distances and open up for more spotting.
With using HE.
Yeah.
High explosive rounds.
Instead of running into the trees deliberately.
Yeah.
It works. It worked pretty well on.
We gotta chop down those trees, sir. Why don't you shoot them? Okay.
I think there are patents currently that get used every once in a while to remove snow from mountains. Like you see tanks used kind of in such a respect, although I don't think anyone's ever tried to use tanks to cut down trees with the shells. I think, of course, there's the iconic image of a tank rolling through a house or rolling over a bunch of trees in old war footage, but
it's a World of Tanks lumberjack.
yeah, you never see the lumberjack. I want a lumberjack medal. I want the game to track how many trees you knock over.
And that's a really good suggestion.
And then give you, it's been in there for a while. It's just that it's a very silly thing to do, because then it encourages people to knock over all the trees. So
you should plant 2 trees for every one you destroy, though.
Exactly, but these guys don't do that.
Big world. All right, Unknown One and J Smooth now heading over to the east side in the southern quadrant here along the hotel line.
All right, we've got Zazie making little scout runs for hammer time, just little loops up and over, trying to keep some momentum going so he's a harder to hit target. And I'm waiting for him to see something. Oh, Angry White Guy's going to jump on Cap, which...
For a sec.
No. Just think of the way this could work out. Angry White Guy being on Cap means that Simple Tankers have put pressure up there. It kind of indicates to Hammer Time, it says, hey, I'm over here, guys. This is where I'm going to put pressure. I'm going to go to the North Cap, which is going to force your tanks, your T-32, Photo Finish being an IS-6, Photo Finish being a T-32, Big Cheese being an IS-6, is going to try to do something about Angry White Guy on the Cap. Everyone from Hammer Time is just going to posture up as if the pressure's coming from the west, as if it's Pub Whisperer, Angry White Guy, are not just the two of them, they're actually everyone from Simple Tankers. You might even see a tank run up and over. You might see Zazie leave the south, which would be awesome. Zazie leaving the south to go up and over to try and stop Angry White Guy.
2 shots coming from Photo Finish towards Angry White Guy. They do not connect.
And now I think that's the trigger pull. They knew for some reason that was what was up. They weren't receiving enough fire from the west. I think Hammer Time figured it out. And Simple Tankers, while they tried to pull something sneaky, they may be able to catch some tanks out, but I don't think they're going to see as much success as they were hoping for. And they need to get Angry White Guy and Pub Whisperer into the brawl that's going to be happening in just a moment.
Nitz is now scurrying across the center of the map, and Pub Whisperer could get a couple shots against him. But here's the engagement coming from Simple Tankers as they move in from the south. Unknown One takes a number of hits, but Zazie is even lower. Tofu Smurf takes another one, and he gets the kill against Zazie. Wallhacks pushes up first as he has the most amount of hit points, even though he takes 1 or 2 hits. He fires against Nitz and gets the kill. Liebestad is the next target for the trifecta of tanks from Simple Tankers on the north side. And now here's Angry White Guy, and 2 tanks died at the same time, Unknown One and Liebestad, on opposite sides of the battlefield. Angry White Guy pushes up against Photo Finish. Wallhacks destroys Overlord Prime, and Photo Finish will be the target of Pub Whisperer, who has 2 shells left to try to stop Photo Finish, and he gets the kill. 1 tank remains for Hammer Time. Simple Tankers has only lost 1 tank. Tofu Smurf and Executus are in between the powerhouse.
Yeah, it worked out very well, even though Hammer Time appeared to be suspicious of what was going on and able to maybe figure it out. And Big Cheese in that IS-6, notice how they ignored him that whole battle.
They did.
He has good DPM for a tank that hits for 390 at this tier, which for something with a 122 fires rather fast. Not accurate, but leaving it alone, once everything's over, you just, well, you can see what's happening.
It takes a while for him to go down, but
No,
once he does.
I don't think that was my point. It was just see how easy this is. Was what I was going for.
Yeah,
It's-
but it did take a while to take him down.
I mean,
and that's the threat management of taking down the lighter tanks that can do more damage quickly compared to a big behemoth of a tank, the IS-6, that even though he does significant alpha damage, great damage, it takes a little while for him to cycle through those shells.
Exactly. Yes. Although the IS-6, if they'd gone for it originally, it would have been able to deal plenty of damage before going down. Would have bounced a lot of shells because these lighter tanks don't have great pen. Next to some heavy tanks which have much more significant pen, can pen much more reliably against a tank that's an IS-6. Just leave it alone. Also, I think maybe opportunity was there. You had just all of the light tanks from Hammer Time in positions where they could be focused down. They could be engaged upon. You saw actually J-Smooth, I think, is something to note. He ran for the traditional Far East position, that little raised one that we see a lot of the time, and he took that from, I believe it was NYPD in a 1390. Yes, NYPD in a 1390. Taking that position allowed for J-Smooth to support anywhere else in their engagement.
To give you an update on one of the non-broadcasted matches, Top Tier was able to defeat Victoria's Secret 5-2.
5-2, not bad for Top Tier. Although we'll have to check to see if that influences
See if it's
their...
enough, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure. They've had a rough time.
Yeah, well, looking at the performance and score so far, Tofu Smurf did the most amount of damage, over 1,800 in his RU-251. It's great to see the amount of damage coming from those quick-firing tanks, but when they take a hit, you go, whoa! I mean, they really take a lot of damage, but that's the nature of having a highly mobile tank, is that they cannot take the damage compared to these T-32s or even this IS-6, and the dynamics of understanding which tanks are used for which purposes. It's really fun to see if you're just starting out with World of Tanks, which you can download for free at worldoftanks.com. Battle number 8, Simple Tankers leads 4-3. Randall, what do we have for tanks?
Well, we have an IS-6, T-32, 1390, 2 RU-251s, and 2 M41 Walker Bulldogs for Hammer Time, the red team defending. Simple Tankers, 3 1390s, 2 RU-251s, and 2 M41 Walker Bulldogs, so a nice mobile lineup.
And the opening right now is a strong push from Simple Tankers towards the east, with Angry White Guy alone heading towards the north. Got 2 separate hit squads. Actually, J-Smooth's heading up the No Man's Road on his own as well.
All right, this is a very wide spread coming out of Simple Tankers, and with this, if they're able to catch an aggressive scout out, they could get an early kill, follow that up, and take that momentum to a victory. But that depends on if Hammer Time's willing to take the risk of venturing outside of their safe area. Overlord Prime hasn't gone any farther west than where Zazie currently is. Actually, I don't think this really has this little spot has a name. It's kind of the unspoken border of the east side, the safe part where you have all those hull downs, amazing positions. You have your own cap point even nestled in a nice little pit, so that when the enemy team comes and tries to cap fast, you can just fire down into them as you please. It's really a perfect position. It's got a little funnel even if they decide not to go into the high ground.
Almost sounds like a fort.
It really is a very natural...
Got this little funnel, got this area,
this
got all
would
this
be
room for activities.
We got a ping pong table.
Ping pong table.
Yeah,
Great
and
stuff.
one of the paddles has tape on it. It's kind of coming off, but I mean, you still hit the ball back and forth.
Yeah.
Although it doesn't really have the same pop as the other one. The other one's actually kind of good, but everyone wants that one.
I look how close Angry White Guy is bordering the flag cap here, which could pull another trigger as we move into the 5-minute mark, causing a turret break, a term that I like to use, which means that the turrets, the guns, will move into another position. They'll break from the line of fire, allowing you to push up safely.
Of course, this comes with the concept of focus fire. First being that focus down one target first, take it, remove it from the battlefield, then it can no longer deal damage. Tanks that are still alive deal damage. So spreading damage doesn't make as much sense as focusing fire in a straight-up fight, because you want to remove as much damage that your opponent can do to you while dealing as much as possible. Focus fire, destroy one at a time, of course accounting for the fact inefficiencies in they're blocking each other, they're moving around, you may have to waste a shell on something else when you don't have the opportunity because you need to continue putting damage out, stuff like that. But yeah, so turret breaking comes from the concept of focus fire and then defeating your opponents.
Angry White Guy continues to place his tank on the flag cap. As to the south, we have all of Simple Tankers that remain. 4 minutes.
And Photo Finish tries to find Angry White Guy. Let's see. Angry White Guy, though, is kind of in a position where I don't think Photo is going to guess it. I think he's guessing slightly to the left. Angry White Guy is a little further right, but Photo can't spot that.
But I like this movement coming from Simple Tinkers. They could force the engagement to the south, allowing Angry White Guy to stay on there and to pull Hammer Time into 2 different directions. Unknown One and Tofu Smurf move up. Missed shot coming from Unknown One.
And Nitz moves out to attempt to stop Angry White Guy. Angry White Guy just gets off the cap. And look at this, actually missed shells. They failed to connect with Nitz, which I think is very important. And now Nitz will, I guess, wipe with Angry White Guy as the rest of the engagement goes underway.
Big shots against Zazie, and Wallhax continues to push forward, but Photo Finish sees it, and he's going to get a nice shot. No, he misses a shot against Tofu Smurf, but he took a hit earlier on. Angry White Guy takes down Nitz. Zazie could be the next target fire here. Takes another shot for 232. The damage is being spread across Simple Tankers, but the first 2 tanks are down for Hammer Time. Simple Tanks still has all their tanks remaining. Tofu Smurf, though, goes down. And Overlord Prime is going to be the next target. Executus moves in for the kill. The 1390 is now going to focus on Liebestad. Unknown One gets the other shot in the kill. Photo Finish NYPD and Big Cheese in the center trying to find the next target. Photo Finish is down. He's burning. He is gone. Pub Whisper gets that kill. Executus is on the reload. NYPD dodges a shot with 3 shells left. And Simple Tankers is 2 tanks away from taking this series and defeating a team that has been in 3rd place for most of this season.
Yes, and now NYPD 1v1 against Executus does not get the kill. He is on reload, while Big Cheese is nearly at full health. But he hits so hard, and his armor, well angled, thick, and even spaced in some areas. This is going to be difficult for Simple Tankers to deal with. They're on the attack.
They need to wait. They have to wait for Pub Whisperer to be loaded, and then they have to move together. They have got to learn from their mistake last time that if they try to piecemeal this, they will lose. Pub Whisperer is now in danger. He's close to these tanks. He takes a shot for 334 for no recourse. There's no response to this.
Didn't know where they were.
Yeah.
Went and took a risky route. Tried to get the spotting done. Just it really works against him. Now he's going to try to escape. Every single tanker from Simple Tankers right now is at incredibly low health. Look at this. Every single one. A ram, 1 shot. Pub Whisperer is literally 1 hit point. And he is damaged in so many ways, I don't even know if we can display enough symbols.
All right, here comes J Smooth and Executus. They're going to be the first to attack. There's 1 shot, another shot. J Smooth's able to dodge the 1 shot from NYPD, but he misses against NYPD. Another missed shot from NYPD. Pub Whisperer moves in and gets a kill. Big Cheese is now the final target here as Angry White Guy gets in from behind. Pub Whisperer is now going to continue to fire. A little bit more left from Big Cheese. He's on the reload, though. J Smooth and Angry White Guy cannot miss. They cannot miss, and they get it in. Simple Tankers closes the deal 5-3 against Hammer Time, and a surprising victory.
That was about as close as you get. That IS-6, if he played it right and they'd kept their 1390 alive, because it was perfect. That was the right call. Going for the 1390 and focusing it is exactly what they need to do, because that tank could have just went down 1, 2, 3, 4, and in no time destroyed everyone. IS-6 could have even still been alive. I think Hammer Time could have played that one better between the 2 of them. Big Cheese and NYPD did what we've seen in the past. We saw, I'll think back to Heavy 20 on Muravanka against I Love Lamp and a 1390. Think about that. 2 players left together against an inferior, in some ways, force. And what happens? The losing side is the one who does not take the initiative. The losing side is generally the one who plays far too reactive. Now, Simple Tankers understands this, and they've made mistakes in the past. Think back to Prohorovka earlier in the series, where they attempted to up and over with greater numbers, but lesser health, and they failed there. That comes down to timing coordination. When you do not have the hit points to be able to play that solo clutching game, or even the small group like that, you will be taken down too quickly, something like that. You have to be highly coordinated, because you're going to lose some of your tankers. You have to pull guns, you have to show up in unexpected areas, all of this. And it's very difficult. But you see Simple Tankers achieving victory with it this one time, but also failing in another attempt. So it's very risky. It
was a redemption. It was a redemption from what happened last time, especially for the end result of being coordinated together as a team. And even with J Smooth on the move, getting those shots, and just, you have to, in your mind, realize that they know they're 1 shot apiece away from dying. Yeah. And there's 3 tanks against 2. So they went up and over. It's like that courageous push of, we don't know who's going to survive, but we have to do it this way if we're going to win. They did it, and they got the win. Tough call, tough position, but they got it. Hammer Time still played very tight as well.
Yes.
And they both will be in the playoffs, so congratulations to both of them, and good luck next week in the playoffs. We have one final match for our regular season. That's the Cunninghams versus Team Fear after this. Stay tuned.